In what was one of the most memorable Blue Jays victories in the franchise's history, they take a 2-0 lead on the New York Yankees after winning game 2 13-7. I'm Dan. This is Kyle. We have so much to unpack here. And despite the fact that it was 12-0 at one point, we can get into the fact that it finishing up 13-7. I see nothing but good news, and we will explain. Kyle, your takeaways from this one.
You know, coming into this series, Dan, a lot of people were talking that the New York Yankees had the best young pitcher on their roster coming into this game, but I call bullshit because Yesavage pitched an absolute masterpiece tonight, and despite the way the score went in the end, I believe it was the right move to pull him and keep that arm fresh. He put on an all-time performance for this baseball team in front of his home crowd, a thing that we had poured over so much, how important it was for him to take the mound in Toronto. You know, how is there one takeaway? How, as they correctly pointed out in the broadcast, does a guy who goes 4 for 4 with that many extra base hits like Dalton Varsho get overshadowed by anyone on the day? But he might have been overshadowed by 2 people on the day, wasn't he, Dan?
Yeah, let's run down the good news. Yesavage, in his first ever postseason start with his family in attendance, goes 5 1/3, strikes out 11. All he gave up was a walk. Did not give up a hit. The Blue Jays also did not have to deal with them blowing a 12-0 lead, where at one point it looked like it might happen, because if it did, they would be questioned on why they remove Yesavage from the game. They were up 12-0. It was a no-brainer. They even said it on the Fox broadcast. I was switching back between the Sportsnet broadcast and the Fox, and they said, yeah, there's no question that's when he comes out of the game, because you're saving his arm, and he could come back in the series if they need him. The other bright spot, Vladimir Guerrero. 2 games in a row, Kyle.
Yeah.
We have said all year, when is Vladdy going to have his moment? Yesterday in game 1, he hit what I thought was going to be a pop-up, ended up to be a home run, the Jays' first run of the game. And in game 2, Vladdy did not hit a pop-up home run. He hit a laser beam into the upper deck for a grand slam. And I believe that's the Jays' 3rd grand slam in like their last 10 games at least. Because they've had a lot of grand slams recently. But Vladdy with his biggest hit as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Undeniably so, Dan. It was, the shades of the Batista home run from
even a little bat flip.
Yeah, even the little bat flip, the standing there, but even the trajectory of the baseball, the noise of the crowd, the moment. I genuinely had goosebumps during that, and that was the hit that put the game out of reach, sunk the Yankees' souls. But so much more importantly than that, obviously Vladdy had been heating up, but that was him just going completely nuclear on this whole thing. An exhale for the city of Toronto, for the baseball team. This is a team doing things from top to bottom without arguably their best offensive player, Bo Bichette.
Yeah, they not even mentioned. It's also, I want to get back to watching it on the Fox broadcast, because we get so ingrained to watching things on the home broadcast. So we have seen Vladdy a lot. The broadcasters that do the Jays games have seen Vladdy a lot. There was mention of he hadn't hit home run since September, when he hit the home run in game 1. But when he stepped up there before he hit the grand slam, Joe Davis and John Smoltz, who were on the Fox broadcast, were telling people what to watch for with Vladdy, because he is such a natural hitter. And they broke down his swing. So there was no talk of there was a long home run drought. So it's kind of like walking away from a crossword that you've been looking at and someone just wandering in and getting something right. You just need outside eyes to see everything, to see it differently. So it was good to see nothing but positive. Not that Vladdy's getting bashed by Toronto media, but we just knew the struggles he was going through, and those are now forgotten as Vladdy hit the grand slam. He also had that spectacular play at first in game 1, and then you have Dalton Varsho, who shows up and they were going to give him a cycle if he had got a single because his triple was credited as a double. But John
Mhm.
Smoltz says that was a triple. There should not have been an error on the play. So he said, I will give him the cycle. We don't need to
Right.
get into my thoughts on the cycle. I think it's one of the dumbest stats. It's a unique stat, just not something that should get as much congratulations. I'd rather see 4 home runs instead of
Of
a
course.
single, a double, a triple, and a home run.
There were so many heroes out there today, Dan. Again, the Vladdy thing, it is what it is. It's that giant exhale. Varsho having that absolute Springer had a monster game. Everyone had a monster
Yes.
game. I want to circle quickly back to our young pitcher, though, Trey Yesavage. Now, you know what? We're gonna have to rewind in time a little bit. I hope our producer's ready here because there's a very brief clip from yesterday's show we would like to play. Please, Shane, if you will. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go on Bet Rivers some more, and I'm going to do some ladder betting on Yesavage's strikeout total because I think he's going to run that up.
Yeah, you called it.
Yeah, there was an absolute pile of strikeouts. I wasn't even close. I could have kept going, but Bet Rivers wouldn't actually allow me to bet him up
So
any
what
higher.
was the over under on his strikeouts?
I think it only went up to 6.5 as the
Okay.
most you could pick. But I also have to call out our company, the people we work for. They had the Jays today, team total of runs set as 3.5.
What?
3.5 runs. They gave me free money. I took that bet too. They
Wow.
gave me free money. Crazy. We work for clowns, Dan, but I love them all. So many
Uh,
heroes out there. And how do you feel about the way the game ended with the runs? Because I don't see it as a very big deal because I think it's a good thing that we were reminded that this Yankees team can explode at any time.
it was that, and also it was a game in which we had filtered out for us. I speak from Jays Nation. What pitchers never to put into the game again for the
Yeah,
rest of the series,
yeah.
as we had uh, Nance. He pitched a third of an inning, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 of them earned. We also had Fisher was in there. He did okay, but it was Nance who got tattooed the most. Eric Lauer he gave up 3 earned runs, but Brule, Dr. Steve Brule, Justin Brule, he was atrocious. He gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits. So there are 3 guys you can point out. Again, you can't say this about Lauer. Maybe it was a blip on the radar because, as Keegan Matheson has said and Buck Martinez agreed with, the Jays aren't into the postseason without Eric Lauer on the lineup. So, but it was again glass half full. Thanks for showing us, Yankees. We won't be showing you those guys again.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us that heads up in a blowout game.
Yeah, and I think it kind of works out for the best because there's not a lot to be learned from a 13-0 win. There's a lot of confidence, there's a lot of celebratory things, but they can take away a few lessons from a game that was really not as close as that score indicated. A lot of garbage time
And also,
runs.
if you lose 13-0, you're just full of rage. They got those 7 runs,
Yes.
so maybe the rage turned into a dull anger.
Yeah, a 2-0 loss is much more devastating than 13-0. You can just they're pro athletes, like like it's just emotionally deflating, but that anger could have turned into now they think their bats are all hot and stuff like that too. But hey, listen, there's still a lot of baseball to be played here. Just because we're up 2-0, all we did was hold serve, right? Like we did what we're supposed to do. We won the home games. And we're still going into Yankee Stadium. That's not an easy place to play ball, but we're putting a guy on the mound in Shane Bieber. This is why they went after him down the stretch, right? This is why you bring this guy to town. Let's see it, you know?
Yeah, Shane Bieber has to get rid of the flaw that he has had since he came to the Blue Jays, and that is a one bad inning.
Yeah.
He's had that in just about every one of his starts. And if you have one bad inning against the Yankees, you're out of the game, and he will have a short leash. So he has to mitigate any damage done. I saw Kevin Gosman talking post game after his game 1 start about the Yankees, and he said the key is to keep them off the board in the first. He said that was his main goal. He says if you can do that, then you really slow them down.
Yeah.
And that's what the Blue Jays have done through the first 2 games of the series. I do want to make the remark on a text from a buddy when I was telling him what was going on with Yesavage and throwing a gem, and the Jays putting up 12 runs. And my friend who's in the New York area said, it's a long series. And that's where I had to remind him,
Yeah.
it's a 3 out of 5. What are you talking about? It's a long series. So it's not a long series. The Blue Jays are exactly where you want to be in a best 3 out of 5. You do not want to be down an 0-2 hole unless the New York Yankees are some bizarro land creatures and say that's exactly where we want them. We want to be down 2-0.
Yeah, they've won twice big. They've had no poor performances from key players. Yeah, there's been some bullpen rust. I get it. But like, as you stated, we were just filtering out some guys for the next 3 games, basically. We know now who not to toss out there now. We've got workhorses ready to go. We'd have Gossman coming back for game 5. And in game 5 scenario, the kid would be ready to go again because they wisely pulled him after 5 1/3. That was just really smart management because we're not chasing his legacy. We're chasing a World Series. And that was good game management. And you can't let what happened after that. You shouldn't have pulled him. It's different when it's 13-0. If the game was 3-0, there was no way he was coming out. Not a chance in hell. But
it's a young arm. It was the right decision. And we still, as of yet, we haven't got into weird baseball, which you get into in playoff baseball when usual starters begin to emerge from the pen, which I always find so baffling. I'm like, you made it here to the playoffs. Why are you doing everything different now?
yeah.
It's so we haven't got to that stage of things yet. Hopefully it doesn't get there. If Shane Bieber survives not having a blow up inning, I don't think you have to worry about those scenarios coming about. Vladdy stays hot. Every single Blue Jay stayed hot. I think we only had one J without a hit, and that was IKF. Is he the only one who producer Tim who finished without a hit? Yes, he is. And Miles Straw.
And Nathan Lucas.
But he only had 2 at bats.
He's 0 for 1.
Oh, he had only a 1 at bat. My guy, Miles Straw, he did score a run, but he didn't get a hit. So we only had one guy who started the game, Connor Falefa, without a hit. So that's pretty good for a team as you compile. They finished with 15 hits, 13 RBI, 5 home runs. Absolutely phenomenal stat lines.
Yeah, just, if you are a prop better on Bet Rivers today was like Christmas for you because even with all the Yankees garbage time runs, they hit a bunch of them too. You want to win the next game. Like, obviously that's a kind of a dumb thing to say, but if you're the Jays here, you want to put your foot on the throat and come out as balls to the wall in Yankee Stadium and tidy this up in 3 and hope that Detroit and Seattle beat on each other extensively here. Correct? Like, there's no other solution. They don't want to go 4 or 5 here. They want to
rest
wrap this
did them well. Look what rest did for the
Yeah.
Jays. It made us forget what happened in the last 10 days of the season where they almost blew their hold atop the AL East. I also wanted to bring up Ernie Clement's home run because we haven't seen many of those this year. Or in baseball in general, used to always see when guys one-armed the baseball out. Ernie Clement one-armed a home run.
And Ernie Clement does not look like or appear in any way like the typical player who does that.
Yeah.
That's like Bo Jackson territory. That's not so much Ernie Clement territory, but man, like when the balls are going over the wall like that, it's
Perfect
Varsho
timing.
golfed one. Everything about it was so electric, and the fact that the hits kept on coming. It wasn't a single inning of outburst or production. The fact that we chased their best pitcher so soon in the game, that is so demoralizing for a Yankees team going back into their home stadium right now.
Yeah, Fried gave up 7 earned, and then they left poor Will Warren out there to take an absolute beating as he gave up 7 hits and 6 runs, 6 of them earned. And if I look here correctly, I think he gave up 3 of the 5 home runs as well. I don't believe, just like the Jays relievers who stumbled against the Yankees, we will not be seeing Will Warren for the rest of the series.
It's
He-
entirely
He
possible.
did his service.
He did. Thanks for coming out, bud. You
Yeah.
didn't save. And the worst part about it is, too, he didn't really even do his service. He tried.
He
But-
ate up innings. He ate up innings to save the pen
Yeah.
for the Yankees, who have to win the next 3 games. We have some big news for tomorrow's, what are we calling it? Toronto Sports Rush. We have former Toronto Blue Jay joining us, and he will help break down the first 2 games of the series as the series heads into an off day as they go to New York. Frank Catalanato.
That's going to be exciting. He's
Will
going to
be
have a
here with
very
us.
interesting perspective on what we saw. And, you know, there's so much to pour over that we didn't pour over here immediately after the game. His perspective will be really, really interesting. We also have a Buffalo Bills night game tonight, which is kind of nice. Only one football game to focus on, and it's a local-ish team to us. That's exciting. New England coming into town, and I hear they're wearing their frosty whites, so
Oh.
that's fun.
Beautiful. So
they're
we'll
wearing
have
the Blue
that to
Jays color.
discuss. And Frank Catalanato. I always like to see other stats that emerge when everyone gets their stories written, and we come up with some new stats on how historical of a game it was for the Toronto Blue Jays and how bad it was for the New York Yankees. We already know in the history of the Yankees franchise, it is the most runs they've allowed in a 2-game stretch in the team's history. And the Yankees have been around since
1400s, I
Julius
think.
Caesar.
Yeah, give or take. They came across the ocean and they started playing ball.
That's
It was
right.
incredible. Well, didn't we also just set a record for 5 home runs in a game? Is that what we finished with?
Jays did finish with 5, yes.
And that's our postseason record for us as well, which is
And
another
Yesavage set a Jays postseason record for most strikeouts in a game.
And
So
he barely pitched more than half the game, which is crazy. He struck
Yeah.
out didn't he strike out 6 or 7 in a row at one point?
after he struck out the first 4 of the game, I'm like, is he going to strike out everyone? Because this is going to be awesome. And then he gave up a walk.
Yeah.
And then there was a line out. I'm like, okay, so he's just going to pitch a no-hitter and strike out every second hitter?
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. And then the bats erupted, and I'm like, I don't know about your phone, Kyle, but my phone was just absolutely blowing up with every single sports fan, non-sports fan in Canada watching, and everyone wanting it to be a group experience and calling
Yes.
and texting. And I love when things like that happen, because it doesn't matter politics, doesn't matter religion.
No,
It's
nothing.
like everyone's on the Jays bandwagon.
This is the politics. This is the religion. And every single message was some variation of, holy shit, are you watching this?
Yeah.
Like, well, yes, it's my job. But secondly, I would be watching it regardless. 'cause this is
I was
electric.
sending to friends, is this real life?
Yeah. We had producers sending us messages saying that too, because it did indeed feel like a fever dream at times. But here's the thing. We're only 67% of the way there, right? There's still another game to win, and this game's over now, and they have to find.
No. We have till midnight to enjoy it, Kyle.
Oh no, I'm enjoying it. No, I'm not. I'm already on to the next one. I'm already worried about Tuesday. I'm not worried because I love Shane Bieber, and I think he's going to see his way through to a solid start. We don't need him to pitch his best game ever, but we need him to pitch well. I want to wrap this up in 3, but it's not wrapped up. These Yankees are dangerous, and they're going home.
Well, we are wrapping this up because we're going to dissect this even more on Toronto Sports Rush on Monday with Frank Catalanato. We'll see you then.
Night.